Does seem somewhat unlikely, but if they do, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a fly on that wall?
You brought it to our attention that the Queen may have a secret Facebook account. Is this right?
That's right. There have been reports that the Queen has a secret Facebook account, which I can't quite believe. She is, remember, 95 years old. So I have trouble sometimes with new technology, but the Queen seems completely able to pick these things up. I mean, we saw her during lockdown with all the Zoom calls and the video calls, and now since her health's been not quite as good as it was in the past, she's been doing more that way. And now we find out about the Facebook account. It's extraordinary to think how readily and easily she picks up these new technologies.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing to think of what is she on there doing, I wonder.
I'll say it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary how good she is at picking up new technologies. We've seen her over lockdown on video call, on Zooms, receiving all sorts of important visitors and guests that way. And then since she's not been well, we've seen her doing the same, just carrying that on. So she seems to be incredibly good at picking up new technologies, even at her ripe old age.
Right. And this isn't the first time that a royal member of the family has had a secret Facebook account or Instagram account, right?
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, we don't know the Queen's pseudonym here, and we also don't know how many friends she has. She hasn't yet accepted my request. But we also know that in that book about Meghan and Harry, Omid Scobie wrote that Harry had a secret Instagram account with the username Spiky Mouse, which was deleted shortly afterwards, I believe. But we know that Meghan apparently started following that Instagram account just around the time they started dating. But of course, even those watching her account then wouldn't have known that it was Prince Harry. And apparently that pseudonym that he used was a mixture of the Facebook name he used. He had an alias on there, Spike Wells, and his favourite DJ, Deadmau5. So that's a bit of royal info that not only the Prince Harry has a secret account, but maybe even Her Majesty the Queen.
I love that so much. That is my favorite. And, you know, we also have some information about who the Queen speaks to the most, right? And I think it's her daughter, Princess Anne, right?
Yeah, apparently the Queen has two people who she speaks to the most on her phones, and she also apparently has a mobile phone which is said to be a Samsung, which is packed with anti-hacker encryption by MI6 so that nobody can hack into her phone. But the two people she phones the most are said to be her daughter Princess Anne and her racing manager John Warren. He's the son-in-law of the Queen's friend, the late Earl of Carnarvon. And his home is, or was, Highclere Castle in Berkshire, which viewers of TV may know better as Downton Abbey. So this is apparently who can get through to the Queen from anywhere in the world. If he calls, she answers.
I love that so much. All right, well then moving on, there are some reports that when Duchess Kate and Prince William come to the United States next year for the Earthshot Prize Awards, they will stay with Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan. Do we think this is actually going to happen?
But it does seem somewhat unlikely, but if they do, I mean, who wouldn't want to be a fly on that wall?
Right.
I do think it probably depends on where the awards are being held, for sure. But I'm sure that just like anyone else, staying with your in-laws is always an experience, which we're all going to find out this week during, the holiday.
Exactly. And who knows? I don't know if this would help their rift, not help their rift, but I mean, I feel like they could probably manage to not crash on somebody's couch and probably find their own place to stay.
You'd think so.
It's like so many of these things, like it's a sort of lose-lose situation. If they get invited and they decline, it seems petty and nasty, and if they don't get invited, it seems petty and nasty from the other side. And if they do accept such an invitation and something goes terribly wrong, that seems like a bad idea. I can't quite see how this would work.
Yeah, no, you're so right.
I know, imagining them, checking into a hotel 2 days later just wouldn't be good for the headlines.
No, you're so right. It is a lose-lose situation. You can't, there's, like you said, the headlines wouldn't be good if they stayed there, if they not stayed there. So who knows? Maybe they'll have the awards in New York and they'll kind of avoid all of this.